Hi everyone, this is Oldbackpac, also known as Pat from the GankBush Squad, and today we're going to be going over a replay of one of our windtimers. And so this is a video for Johanna, and he's a silver 3 level player, and he wanted some help on how to become a better tank. So we're going to watch this game of where he is Johanna, and the rest of the ally team has Tychus, Thrall, Rhaegar, and Kerrigan. The opposing team is Varian, Malfurion, GC, Gul'dan, and Tracer. Okay, so Johanna is a main tank, and she's primarily a zoning tank. So the most important thing is to be zoning, giving sight. So right now, as the team fight starts, you'll notice that Johanna is in the back line, behind Thrall and Kerrigan. She shouldn't be there. She should be in that smoke, giving sight for her allies. Right now, she's playing behind everyone, even the healer. As the team fight starts, Johanna uses both her Condemn and her Punish at the start of it, so she can't actually peel for anyone. She really should have waited until this sort of shit broke out before she casted her abilities. Once again, you see Johanna being positioned behind both of her melee assassins. Somewhere that, well, she shouldn't be. She should be in the front zoning for them. And that's a prime example of why Johanna didn't peel. She was actually behind, not zoning properly. Yeah, so right now, Johanna is also very good at wave clear. So she is actually exceptional at that. Now that the patch has changed her W to make it such that she gets the damage to minions bonus as a default. So Johanna actually could do, she could actually rotate from lane to lane in wave clear very effectively. And right now she's doing that, which is actually quite good. And look at that, she even helped set up a kill. After the character got her combo off, Johanna set up the stun and the slow. That's a dead enemy. That was well done. Yeah, but right now she's at about 20% life, and the shard's about to be activated. She needs to either press B or go to the well. One or the other. A tank at 20% health isn't a tank, because you don't have a health pool. She needs to very quickly get out of here before she dies. Okay, Johanna, tap the well. Nice. Right now there's Tychus getting jumped on in the bottom. Johanna should have been there to help him out. Yeah, so here on Infernal Shrines, the two main important entry points to this shrine. There's the bottom part, which is the smoke, which is where there's a fight happening right now. There's also the sides on the top, left, and right of this circle. As Johanna, your job is to be standing in one of the 2 choke points, preferably the smoke. Especially that's where the enemy was. And she did that, and you're able to capture the shrine, which is very well done. And now you have the Punisher captured, so the primary goal should be to send 1 player to the top lane, 1 to the bottom, and 3 in the middle. Johanna, being a very low damage warrior, she really shouldn't be pushing with this. She should be off split soaking somewhere. She has great wave clear and very low damage. So she should be mounted up and going top or bottom and getting more HP for her team. Instead, the 3 of them go to push farther into the walls, which is really dangerous because the opposing team is all in the middle. They're overextending quite a lot right now. They may get punished for this. Yeah, so a little bit about this team comp. If we look at the blue team, they have Tychus, Kerrigan, Rhaegar, and Thrall. So they're very much a dive comp. And when you think about that, and you think, what is Johanna's role in this? So her goal is essentially to be in the front line and take a lot of the early CC and the peel away from their divers. So the opposing team is Varian, ETC, Gul'dan, and Tracer. Johanna's job should be to first is blind Tracer, and the second, try to be in Gul'dan's face. Don't let him to be very aggressive. But right now, this bottom lane is being pushed by 3 members of the enemy team, and Johanna, being so low damage, can't really defend this. She really should just be behind the wall and just throwing out very minor potes and some blinds. Instead, they just back up because the enemy team wants to leave, and they go back to wave clear. Right now it's 2-on-1 versus 3-on-1 with JoJo versus 2 tanks and Malfurion. So this is just nice zoning. She's getting EXP for her team, but not actually being in danger. This is actually the right play. Oh, don't go in, Johanna. So right now, what Johanna did was she actually went outside to approach the creep wave. If she were to have waited about maybe 2 seconds, the wave would have came to the tower. She can W them into the cannons and get the same amount of effect without taking a lot of damage. That's a primary example of how to take unnecessary damage as a tank. So right now, Johanna needs to be in the smoke in order to zone for her team. So this also has 4 entry points. It's her job to block one of the main primary ones. So she needs to be entering the fight, not leaving it. You see this team fight. She's actually the one farthest back, and she is not really appealing for her team. She's actually running with everyone else. She should be going in a little bit farther. Be in that smoke. The objective here is to take the shrine minions, and really Johanna's role is to give sight to the team and scout and to try to zone the enemy team out of here. So now as the fight has started, Johanna's the first one out. She's left both Thrall, Kerrigan, and Rhaegar out to dry, and not surprisingly, the team fight has been lost. So since this is a lost shrine, just forfeit it and no split soak. This is how you make the best of a bad situation. Before you lose the shrine, that's okay, and you need to then just, well, get an advantage elsewhere. So now the Punisher has been capped. The primary goal of Johanna now is to tank the Punisher. She should walk behind the wall. Behind the wall, Johanna. Oh crap. So you need to go behind the wall, cast Shielded Lair, then your trait D to walk out safely. That's how you correctly pull a Punisher over the wall. And the Punisher will jump about every 8 seconds. There's the second one. In that case, you should also be ready for the pull. As the team fight breaks out, Johanna's near death. She should just be out. She should be out because she can't really tank right now. And remember, those arcane traps do a lot of damage, so when you walk through them, it's going to actually hurt you quite a bit. Now that the team has already started to turn the fight around, Johanna should be able to dive in. She should be mounted up right now, and dive in, then both condemn and slow her team. Johanna's quite good at chasing heroes. Well, not quite good, but she does it okay with her condemn and her slow. Now that the shrine is over, it's back to the laning phase, or more importantly, the merc phase, of where you need to just get mercs on the enemy camp. She should be zoning and scouting as the enemy team gets minions, gets caps. Now that level 10 has occurred, you need to think about how do you plan to win team fights. For the opposing team, they have Vivarian, Malfurion, TC, and Gul'dan. So a lot of this team fights are based around the mosh pit. And Johanna is great at interrupting mosh pits. She has 2 ways of doing it: condemn and her shield. Let's take a moment now to analyze this team fight as it's about to start. We know it's starting because Titus has already summoned the Odin, Malfurion has already cast his Twilight Dream, and the fight is essentially both teams that have committed to it. And as the fight has started, we saw Thrall, who was a bit caught out, got rooted by Malfurion, and there's the follow-up ETC stun. So as Johanna, your primary worry should be about the mosh pit. And in order to avoid being in the mosh pit, you need to be at the front line of the enemy team, so you can just easily throw your shield and interrupt it. But right now she's in the back line. You see where she is? She is behind Rhaegar, behind Kerrigan, and in the back line with Thrall. He really should be at the front line trying to zone out the Varian. And one of Johanna's main peels is for condemn, followed by slow. So whoever's being focused, you need to be on the opposite side of them to pull them away from the target being hit. So she really should be deeper into the team, closer to Furion, trying to CC Variant and Furiant away from his enemy team and be ready to shield the ETC to interrupt the mosh pit whenever he can. So that's a tip to take when tanking. You need to be outside of the back line where ETC is most likely to mosh pit. So fortunately, ETC didn't pop his mosh pit there. But even now, Johanna is still playing much farther back than her front lines. Kerrigan's at the front line, Thrall's there, and Johanna still has full life. She hasn't been much of a front liner at all for her team. Fortunately, Rhaegar's Bloodlust was popped, and they were able to get some kills. Now that they've won the team fight, they should be aiming to press their advantage. You do that either by taking the enemy merc camps, or you just push. So they have the opportunity to do either, and they're choosing the merc camps, which is a reasonable decision to make. So as Johanna, your job is not to hit the merc camps, but to zone for your enemy team. I would have actually moved into one of the FODs, above or below, and scouted it. Scouting is a huge advantage for your team. It lets you creep your enemy creeps, and let your team know they're safe. As right here, that FOD beneath you is a great place to stand if you're going to zone for your team. So now the shrine is active again, and once again, it's Johanna's job to get in sight. Right now she's in the front, and it's great. Here comes the mosh pit. There it is, and Johanna actually walked into it there. If she were farther back, she would have been able to throw a shield. So this is actually quite good for her. She is starting to zone. A little bit of backpedaling going back and forth, but overall not too bad. One comment I have to make is her use of the shield glare. So far I've watched her in team fights, and she spends a lot of her time using the shield glare when no one's being attacked really. You really should be aiming to save your shield glare for the Tracer and the Varian. Both of them are high auto attack based characters, and a blind for them for a second and a half would be a lot of damage reduction for your team. So that's something you should remember of when should I use the blind. It's particularly when someone is being dived. Now that the blue team has regained control of the shrine, what Johanna should be doing is aiming to once again zone. That means be inside of that smoke that's beneath them. And when ETC slid into the enemy team, she wasn't there. That's why they didn't dove on so hard right now. They needed better sight, better vision of their opposing team to prevent this sort of dive. And there is actually a use of a bad shield, where she uses shield when the team fight's already been lost. That should have been cast much earlier during the initial dive to help turn the team fight around. Instead, she uses it to escape, and they simply don't die, even though they already lost the team fight because 3 others died previously. Now that the team fight's been lost, it's really Johanna's job is to wave clear, which she's done. However, in that last wave she cleared, what she should have done is let the enemy wave closer to the tower, and then safely clear it away. So right now the boss is coming. He needs to get behind that wall immediately and jump over the wall, cast shield glare, and then hop it over to you. Unfortunately, Thrall had to do it because Johanna didn't, and now Thrall is getting pounded by the John Cena of a Punisher. Once again, Johanna was playing a bit passively, and her team is paying the price for that, namely Tychus. So two mana fallen for the blue team. Most of the damage is gone except for a Thrall and a Rhaegar. In these 3-man comps, there's almost no poke. Thrall has 1 Q, Rhaegar is melee, and Johanna is low damage. Therefore, they should be backing up to the towers and just wait for the team to approach and zone them out. With 5 men back up again, they can try to start to contest the capture of their points. So you should be setting a shield glare into those merc camps to see if they're stealing it from you or not. That's how you would zone for them in sight. Okay, the team has rejoined themselves, and they're going to probably start taking merc camps. Johanna should be in the front here, and cast her shield, throw, immediately start this fight off, and give Kerrigan some heal. and some sort of way to survive this team fight. Now that the team fight's nearly lost, Johanna's almost out of life, and Bloodlust is on cooldown still, they really should just be backing up and seeding the Merc camps. I've seen this happen a lot in a lot of lower level games where teams will fight way too hard for a single Merc camp. Seeing how the team comp has Titus, Johanna, and Thrall, people who are pretty okay at wave clear, they don't need to worry about a single Merc camp. They can take care of that very easily by themselves. So when you see these Merc camps that are being stolen from you, and you're a man down, let it go. It's not worth the fight. Now that the team fight's ended, they're moving on to the next shrine. You'll notice that the levels here are 14 and 16, so the blue team is behind a talent here. This is a time when you don't want to pick a fight. You don't have to do it. Unfortunately, it's a quick match, and something you have to do sometimes is fight when you're under level. Even so, you should group up with a 5-man and try to get a team fight as close to your tower as possible. So Johanna should aim to poke at them and then try to lure them out. But right now she's even behind most of her team. The team's already into the well. And this is another opportunity for Johanna to be in the smoke at the bottom of the map to give sight to her team. Unfortunately, she's not there and she's hitting the skulls. Johanna's okay clear of the skulls with her W and her Q. However, at this point, she needs to be at the front line, which Kerrigan has taken that role simply because, well, Johanna's not there. And then the back line falls, and Johanna takes an enormous amount of damage. Now the team fight is almost lost. It's now moved on to a poke game. Fortunately, Titus still has Odin up. They can continue the poke with the Odin. And Johanna's role here is to zone for him. And in that case, she still had her iron skin up. She wasn't able to cast it. That is simply not debatable. It needs to be worked on. Now we fast forward in order to get to the next part of the stage of after the shrines have been lost. And here the Punisher is about to jump the wall, so Johanna should be casting Shield Glare to lure it over. Unfortunately, Thrall had to do it again. This is simply map awareness of knowing where you should be. So Johanna is playing very, very deep into the enemy team, which is where she doesn't need to be. She needs to be farther away, and she paid the price for it. Now the team's going to fall like dominoes just because they've lost their tank and most of their poke. And that's actually probably pretty much a good game right now. The Punisher's taking down the keep. They still have a very strong 5-man up with only a Thrall alive. Okay, and so since they have lost the keep and they have a very strong 5-man, almost all at full health, this team's going over. So we should really kind of just review of what Johanna should be doing in her role in the team fight. Her real goal is to give sight and to hold positions. And in this fight, she wasn't able to do that very well. The team paid for it. Their Varian, ETC, had a lot of free reign on their back line. And even when he cast his Mosh Pit, it was interrupted. MVP. So, Johanna needs to be there to peel and give sight. She doesn't have high damage, she has a lot of CC, and a large health pool. She should be able to be on the front line, and if anything goes wrong, she can press D and simply walk out. And that is her strongest ability. So thank you very much for joining me on this GankBush Squad video review. If you want to have us analyze your replays, please send it in, and I'll do my best to get to it. I'm primarily a tank player, so I give a lot of good tank feedback. And if you have any other roles to go over, I can probably help you with that as well.